Hollywood, 1947. A city of glittering dreams and shadowed secrets. But on January 15th, a nightmare tore through its sheen. A woman's body, severed in two, lay in a vacant lot on South Norton Avenue. Her face was carved into a grotesque smile, her body drained of blood, posed like a broken doll. This was Elizabeth Short, the Black Dahlia. Who did this? Why? Let's dive into one of history's darkest unsolved mysteries. Elizabeth Short was 22, a dreamer with raven hair and pale skin, her eyes wide with ambition. She arrived in Los Angeles chasing stardom, but found only fleeting jobs in cheap motels. Friends called her Beth, a girl who loved dahlia flowers pinned in her hair. But beneath her charm, she carried a quiet sadness, a longing for something more, a longing that would end in blood-soaked tragedy. That January morning, Betty Bersinger walked her toddler through Leimert Park when she saw what she thought was a mannequin. Pale, split at the waist, arms bent unnaturally above her head. The grass around was matted with frost, but no blood stained the ground. Elizabeth's body had been scrubbed clean, her organs removed with surgical precision. The killer had taken their time, turning her into a macabre work of art. Police swarmed the lot, their breath fogging in the cold. Detectives noted the cuts, clean, deliberate, as if done by someone who knew anatomy. Her mouth had been sliced ear to ear, a grisly smile frozen in death. Bruises mottled her wrists, ankles bound before the end. Her lower half lay a foot away, legs splayed, a taunt to the living. This wasn't just murder, it was a message. The autopsy revealed horrors. Elizabeth had been alive during the mutilation, her heart pumping as the blade carved her. Her stomach held traces of feces, forced down her throat before death. Ligature marks showed she'd been tied, tortured for hours. Her blood was drained elsewhere. The body moved after. The coroner whispered, "This is the worst I've seen." Los Angeles, a city of glamour, now trembled under a killer's shadow. Newspapers exploded with the story, dubbing her the Black Dahlia, a nod to her dark hair and a recent film, The Blue Dahlia. Reporters hounded her past, painting her as a femme fatale who lured men to their doom. But those who knew her said otherwise. Elizabeth was shy, a romantic, her lipstick always crimson, her laughter soft. The media's lies buried her truth beneath their ink. Detectives traced her last days. On January 9th, Elizabeth was seen at the Biltmore Hotel, her silhouette fleeting in the mirrored lobby. She met a man, tall, dark-haired, his face obscured by cigarette smoke. Witnesses heard her voice, nervous, as she left with him. Her suitcase later turned up at a bus station, clothes neatly folded, a single dahlia pressed between them. That was the last trace of her alive. The vacant lot wasn't the kill site. Tire tracks nearby suggested a car had idled, its engine humming as the killer worked. Grass blades held flecks of soap, evidence she'd been washed post-mortem. A heel print, small and sharp, was found in the dirt, hinting at a woman's presence. Was there an accomplice? The lot, exposed under a gray sky, held no answers, only the echo of her final scream. The killer didn't stop at murder. Days later, a package arrived at the Los Angeles Examiner. Inside were Elizabeth's belongings, her birth certificate, photos, a note scrawled in cut-out letters. "Here is Dahlia's things, more to come." Gasoline had wiped the prints clean, but the message chilled. The killer was watching, taunting, their laughter hidden in the city's smog. They wanted fame, and Elizabeth's corpse was their canvas. Police rounded up suspects, over 150 men in weeks. A bellhop at the Biltmore recalled Elizabeth's nervous giggle, pointing to a man in a fedora who'd vanished into the night. Another lead, a bartender who'd served her drinks, his hands trembling as he spoke, but alibis held, and the trail grew cold. The city buzzed with fear, women locking doors, shadows stretching longer under Hollywood's flickering streetlights. Let's explore the theories. First, a jilted lover. Elizabeth had suitors, men drawn to her porcelain beauty. One, a soldier named Robert Manley, drove her to the Biltmore that night. He claimed he left her there alive, but his story wavered. Did jealousy drive him to kill? His polygraph was inconclusive, his eyes darting as police pressed harder, yet no evidence tied him to the lot's frozen ground. Theory 2, a serial killer. The cuts on Elizabeth's body mirrored others, like the 1944 murder of Georgette Bauerdorf, a socialite found drowned in her bathtub, her body bruised. Was the same hand at work? Detectives noted the precision, the staging, as if the killer craved control. Los Angeles in the 40s was a hunting ground, its underbelly crawling with predators who thrived in the city's neon glow. Some whispered of darker forces, a mob hit. Elizabeth's father lived in LA, rumored to owe debts to the underworld. Did she stumble into their crosshairs? A gangster named Bugsy Siegel ruled Hollywood's shadows, his temper legendary. The surgical cuts could point to a professional, a warning carved in flesh. But no witnesses came forward, and the mob's silence was a wall, as cold as the morgue slab. Theory 3. A doctor did it. The cuts suggested medical skill, someone who knew how to sever a spine without shattering bone. Dr. George Hodel emerged as a suspect, a physician with a twisted mind. His home, the Soden House, had hidden rooms, walls that whispered secrets. Hodel fled to Asia in 1950, leaving behind a trail of suspicion, but no hard proof. Hodel's own son, Steve, later accused him. In 2003, Steve claimed his father killed Elizabeth, pointing to Hodel's obsession with surrealist art, like Man Ray's photographs of severed bodies. Steve found photos in Hodel's belongings, one resembling Elizabeth, her eyes hollow, lifeless. Soil samples from the Soden house hinted at human remains, but the case stayed cold. Was Hodel the monster, or just a convenient scapegoat? Another theory, a woman's jealousy. That heel print in the lot, small, deliberate, suggested a female accomplice. Did Elizabeth cross a lover's wife, igniting a rage that ended in mutilation? Detectives interviewed women in her circle, their voices sharp with envy. One spoke of Elizabeth's beauty, her voice dripping venom. She thought she was untouchable. But no name stuck, and the print faded into the city's fog. The investigation unraveled. Police were overwhelmed, leads piling up like autumn leaves. Reporters trampled evidence, their headlines screaming louder than the truth. A false confession came from a drifter, Jack Anderson Wilson, who knew details only the killer could, but he died in a fire before questioning. The case file grew, thousands of pages, yet the killer slipped through, their shadow stretching across Los Angeles's cracked pavement. Elizabeth's ghost lingered in Hollywood. The lot on South Norton became a grim landmark, kids daring each other to step where she'd lain. Her face haunted tabloids, her smile a grotesque mask. Some swore they saw her in the Biltmore's mirrors, a flicker of black hair and crimson lips, her eyes pleading. The city couldn't forget her, nor the monster who turned her into a legend. Decades later, the case still grips us. In 2013, a K-9 unit sniffed out possible blood traces at the Soden house, but no charges were filed. Books, films, podcasts, They all chase the Black Dahlia's shadow, each claiming to solve it. Yet the truth stays buried, perhaps in the cracked earth of that vacant lot, or in the walls of a house that refuses to speak. It's a quiet street now, but locals avoid it at night. They say the air feels thick, like breathing through gauze. On moonless nights, some hear whispers. Elizabeth's voice, soft, pleading, "Find him." Her killer's shadow still looms, a stain on Los Angeles that won't wash out. This mystery has claws. It's been 78 years, and we're no closer to answers. The Black Dahlia case is a wound in history, one that festers with every new theory. Some say Elizabeth's reflection lingers there, her dahlia wilting, her carved smile eternal. Her killer walks free, maybe long dead, their secret buried with them. But her story lives, a reminder that some horrors never fade. What do you think? Was it a lover's rage, a serial killer's ritual, or a mob's cold justice? Could a doctor like Hodel have turned his scalpel on Elizabeth, or did a woman's envy carve her apart? Drop your theories below. This mystery thrives on your thoughts. If this chills you, smash that like button. Let's unravel more darkness together. Subscribe for what's next. Thanks for joining me on this grim journey. If this kept you up, share it with a friend who loves a mystery. It's made for late-night debates. Until next time, stay curious. And maybe don't walk alone in Hollywood at night. The city's still watching.